lie down on your backs with your legs extended long. And the first thing you're going to do is I want you to close your eyes. I want you to begin feeling the sensation of your feet against the floor. As you feel the sensation of your feet against the floor, just observe the left foot, the impression the left foot makes on the floor, how it turns out, or doesn't. And then see if you can identify the center of your left heel, the back part of your left heel, and how it connects with the floor. And in your mind's eye, trace a line from that back center heel part of your foot all the way up to the pelvis. And in your mind's eye, if it's wavery or if it doesn't go straight, that's totally fine. Just observe. And then switch your awareness to your other foot. And observe the connection that makes with the floor. How it turns out. And find, again, the center heel of that back part of your heel. Center part of that back part of your heel. And trace the connection all the way up to your pelvis. Now take your thumbs and your index fingers together. You can keep your eyes closed. So your thumbs and your index fingers are touching. Your left thumb touches your right thumb. Your left index finger touches your right index finger. Yes. So we have like a triangle with our hand. Well, yeah, like a triangle. And take your triangle of your hand and place it below your belly button. Yes. And begin breathing into that area behind your hand. As you inhale, feel the space in the middle of your hands fill. And as you exhale, feel that space empty. And then take that area beneath your hands and let that area move away from the floor. So you're just letting that center of mass area that we've just identified come towards the floor and away from the floor. Do just a couple more there. Now rest your hands by your sides. And very gently begin to press your feet into the floor just a little bit. And as you press your feet into the floor just a little bit, observe what happens in your pelvis. And then relax your feet. Do this 3 more times at your own pace, pressing your feet into the floor. And as you press your feet into the floor, start to feel which parts of your feet you're pressing into. And when you finish, reach your right leg all the way out, so it rests against the floor. Let your right toes be relaxed, let your right foot turn out as much as it would like. Take your left hand on top of your left thigh. Yes. Now very gently, begin pressing into your left foot. As you press into your left foot, use your left hand to move your knee forward. So you press into your left foot, your left hand moves your knee forward, and then you relax. And stay with this. And as you do this, see if you can feel a gentle rolling of the pelvis. It's subtle, it's nothing big. You're pressing into your left foot, you're using your left hand to move the knee forward, and the pelvis rolls. Take just one more on this side. Now remove your hand and press into your left foot and let your left knee move forward. Same thing you just did, just no hand now. See if you can find that coordination, that pattern. And again, as you do this, see if you can start to feel which parts of your left foot are pressing into the floor. Take just one more. And extend that left leg all the way out. Bend the right knee. Take your right hand on top of your right thigh. Before you start, ask ask yourself where your right foot is in relation to your pelvis. I did not ask you this on the left side. Just make that observation on this side. Now go ahead and take your right hand on top of your right thigh. Begin pressing into your right foot. As you press into your right foot, use your hand to move your knee forward. And then relax. And as you do this, begin to see if this coordination is a little bit easier on this side than it was on the other side. Maybe you learned something from doing it on the other side first. And go ahead and relax your hand by your side, but keep doing that pattern of pressing the right foot and letting the right knee move forward. Make the movement small. It's not about how big it is. And see if you can control the descent on the way down. Take one more. And go ahead and come on up into a seated position. You're going to sit so that one foot is in front of the other. It doesn't matter to me which. You're going to take your hands around whatever foot that you have there. You're going to pick that foot up. And all I want you to do is begin playing with the foot with your hands. It's like you are a child. You're like, oh, I have this foot. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to see how it bends. I'm going to see what happens when I press into different parts of it. Go slowly, take your time. You can play with the toes if you want to. Move your ankle, find your heel, and really see if you can put tactile sensation on a variety of points of the foot. If you have a habit and you tend to default towards one part of the foot, see if you can use the other parts of the foot as well. From here, keep hold of that foot, whichever foot you have. Again, I didn't give you an instruction on which one, so it doesn't matter. You're going to reach the other leg out. You're going to take your hands around the outside of that foot. You're going to pick the foot up away from the thigh. And you're going to just start to move the foot out and move the foot in. Now, start to see if when you turn the foot out, you can start to find a way to make yourself roll towards the floor. And maybe you can roll yourself back up. But you don't have to. It's just a playful exploration. You're using your foot, you're using the center of mass. You're not trying to effort it with anything. And go ahead and find center. Relax that foot. Sit for a moment with your legs cross-legged. And just observe the sensation of the leg that you just worked on. See how that feels. See how that side of your pelvis feels. Maybe that side of your foot. Pick up the other foot. Same thing. Spend some time with it. Give it some love. This is the only exercise I do with clients. I'm like, oh, we're doing foot stuff. I will do this too. Again, move it around, put pressure on various points. And then go ahead and take your hands around the outside of that foot. Reach the other leg out. And just work with rolling, moving the foot out and moving the foot back. Don't worry about the center of mass yet. You're just moving the foot. What happens? Where is it sticky? How does it feel compared to the other side? It's always a fun inquiry. And then if you'd like, you can stay with this. You don't need to roll to the side if you don't want to. You can play with the idea of what happens if I turn my center of mass to the same direction that the foot is moving. Where do I go? And what do I lead with on the way up? I tend to lead with my center of mass on the way up, but some people lead with their foot. Play with both. There's no right or wrong. And on your last one, which will be this next one, stay on the floor and extend your legs out with your hands to your sides. Bend your knees so your feet are flat. So you're supine, knees are bent, feet flat. Start pressing through your feet. Press through both feet. And as you press through your feet, where do you press? So don't do anything yet other than that. Press into your feet, observe where the pressure goes, and relax. Do that 3 times. Once you finish the last one, take a moment to reflect. There's some wonderful research about reflection and learning. Reflection is one of the ways we do learn. Once you've established where you are pressing into your foot, now see what happens if you press into your heels. Press into your heels so much that something happens in your pelvis. What happens in your pelvis is up to you, but something happens. And then relax. And start to maybe make the movement bigger or maybe make the movement smaller. Press into your heels. See what happens in your pelvis. And relax. Do that 2 more times. And start to see if you can feel that you're pressing maybe through the center of the heel. If you have a tendency to press through the outside of the heel or the inside of the heel, see if you can change that a little bit. Once you've finished your last one, stay in this position and lift your heels off the floor. Now, before you do anything, your balls of your feet are on the floor, but your heels are off. Simply observe where the pressure is across the balls of the feet. Is it towards the pinky sides of the balls of the feet? Is it towards the big toe sides of the balls of the feet? Is it evenly dispersed? Again, no right or wrong, you're just observing. Now, however your pressure is, press into the balls of the feet so much that something happens in your pelvis. And then relax. Do that 2 more times. After you finished your last one, now see if you can make sure there is equal pressure from the big toe ball of the foot to the pinky toe ball of the foot. It's like everything is even. And because everything is even, as you press up, there's a little bit of a change in how your pelvis moves. And relax. Do that 2 more times. Good. Go ahead and release. Turn over into a hands and knees position, or a forearms and knees position if your wrists are wonky. I am very honest. And in this position, I want you to imagine you have a tail. And move your tail between your legs. And then move your tail up towards the ceiling. Yeah, just go back and forth there. Move your tail between your legs, up towards the ceiling. See if you can keep everything else quiet. After you've spent some time moving your tail up and down, move your tail side to side. You're wagging your tail. I have dogs, so this is like when my dogs are excited for food time. It's the only time they wag their tails. Now, can you make a circle with your tail?
This isn't working.
And can you reverse your circle? It's always fun. And from here, stand on your knees. Palm hand position. Don't look at your feet. See if you can feel where your feet are in relation to your knees. There's no right or wrong, you're just observing. And see if you can feel if the pressure on your left foot is the same as the amount of pressure on your right foot. Once you've got that, you can look back and see if your toes are actually pointed the direction you think they are. If they are, cool. Once you have that, go ahead and sit back towards your heels. And as you sit back towards your heels, I want you to feel the pressure change on the foot. So you're not doing this, there's many ways to teach this movement, but for today, let's use it for that reason. How does the pressure change against the foot? Once you've got that, push your foot into the floor, use that to bring your that 2 more times. Sit back, feel the pressure change against the foot, and then push your foot into the floor. After you've finished your last one, stay in that standing kneeling position. You can keep your toes pointed, or you can change it up and pull your toes towards your knees, doesn't matter. From here, let your center of mass move back. So you're going to change how you're initiating the movement. Center of mass moves back. How does that change things? And then center of mass moves forward. Play with that, just 3 times. And then stay so you're standing on your knees. Take your right foot forward. And take your right foot forward so it's like you're on 2 different railroad tracks. Your railroad tracks can even be pretty far away from each other. See what feels best on your hips. You're going to begin by pushing your foot, your front foot, into the floor and forward. When you do that, see what happens to your pelvis. And then pull your foot back towards the wall behind you. And just play with that. Push your foot forward. Pull the foot back. Do that just a couple more times and we'll change it. Now, find a position where you're neither pushing or pulling. And I want you to see if you can find the center of the heel that's in front. And feel the center of the heel that's in front. Feel it connected with the floor. It's like it's suction cupped to the floor. And see if you can feel the connection of the big toe ball of the foot and the pinky toe ball of the foot against the floor. Keep that action. Do the same thing. Push the foot forward and pull the foot back. Take just one more. And go ahead and relax and switch sides. We're going to do it very differently on this side. So take the foot forward. Again, your foot is on a different railroad track than the other one. From here, let your center of mass move back. Don't worry about your foot. And then move your center of mass forward. And just play with it from this perspective. Center of mass moves back. Center of mass moves forward. And see if as your center of mass moves back and forward, see if you can feel the change of pressure in the foot that's in front. Take just one more. Come into a standing position. Take your feet relatively wide. Toes can angle out or not, doesn't matter to me. See if you can feel the center of your heels against the floor. And then feel the weight evenly dispersed across the balls of the feet. Find that connection. Again, imagine your feet are suction cupped. From here, you are going to take your hands on your thighs. You're going to stick your booty out. And again, we have a tail one more time. Tail goes between your legs. Tail goes up towards the ceiling. Stay with this. And as you do this, just observe if there's any response in your feet. I know they're suction cupped, but sometimes people will feel little subtle changes. Take one more. And then staying in this position, begin to push your feet into the floor to stand you up. And then keep pushing your feet into the floor as you lower back down to that same position. You're still pushing really hard. Hands come back to your thighs. Hold here for a second, and then push your feet into the floor. Observe what happens to your center of mass. Keep pushing your feet as you lower back down. Keep pushing, it's hard. General population clients really struggle with this. And just one more. Push. And keep pushing as you lower down. And keep your hands on your thighs. Now you're going to pull your heels towards the wall behind you and come up that way. And then gently relax back down. And then pull your heels towards the wall behind you. And come back down.
Is that different than like pressing through my heels?
Yeah, so pull the heels back. It's kind of, imagine your shins are moving back behind your ankles as you come up. And see if you can start to feel how that shifts the tension in the feet. one more. Perfect. Go ahead and relax there. All right, how are you guys feeling?
Okay.
Excellent. Let's do a little partner work. Who wants to be my demo person? Excellent, excellent. Come on to your hands and your knees. Come on to your hands and your knees for me. We are going to play with cueing 3 different positions a couple of different ways. You guys can change the position as much or as little as you want, as long as it's the general form. So like, this is hands and knees position. You could take a hand forward, you could take a knee back. There's no rule that it has to be this quadrupedal, like exactly even position. So I'm gonna have Brandon think about shifting his pelvis back by using his feet. And the way he's gonna do that is he's gonna start to think about the tops of his feet pulling towards his hands. So pull, yep. And then he's gonna push the tops of his feet away, yeah, just like that. He's just gonna, he's gonna do this a couple of times, good. And then relax. He could also, if he doesn't have the plantar flexion for that, he can totally do a dorsiflexion and I'm good to go. All right, come into a tall kneeling position for me and take 1 foot forward. All right, and you're gonna take your foot pretty wide. So I'm gonna put him into, yeah, and go ahead and take your hands to the floor. Again, you can change this as, you know, whatever you want to do. Take the toes out a little bit. I'm going to go with kind of this 45-degree-ish angle. Yeah, like that. Good. Now I want you to move your center of mass straight back. Yep, and now move your center of mass straight forward. But as you do that, I want you to imagine you have suction cups on your feet, so you're not losing your feet, okay? And just do that 2 more times. You could cue the same movement from the foot. You could also cue the quadruped motion from the center of mass. So again, we're just playing with different ways to cue this. Good, just 1 more. And they will all feel different. Perfect. Come on up into a, keep 1 foot forward for me, switch feet. All right, the final one, and this one I think is really fun. So you're gonna start to push this foot straight down into the floor. And I want you to push this foot so much into the floor that it's like you're gonna come up. Ah. Okay, we're not gonna do this one yet. We're gonna start with those 2, and then we'll deal with that in a second. So again, play with the cueing. Cue it either from the center of mass or the foot. Maybe do it both ways in both positions. See what your partner responds to, and talk to your partner. Ask them what they're experiencing, ask them what they like, ask them what they don't like. So go ahead and split up into groups.
Quick review, it's all 4s, tops of the feet,
All
and
4s.
then
You can get tops of the feet or your hands.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can do whatever you want with your hands.
Okay.
You can also play with that. And then stagger.
Okay.
Handstand. Okay. All right.
Ooh.
We have a